Anything you want to ask questions?
Yes, I'd be glad to. Hey,
Get your mic up close to you so you can all hear you.
will do. James, you're here, so you can back me up on some of the things that we talk about. I don't know if Tanya's still here or not. And what we also have is we have somebody that is current, just left the Planning Commission. That's one of our councilmen up here, Clay McInnes. What this does is it says we're going to take the formality of having a public hearing on something if you don't need a public hearing on it. You're talking about a delay of anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks, depending on the cycle of the agenda that you try to fall on. We want the public to know, we'd like to have public input, but there are other ways we can have it, and a lot of other cities have moved to that. And talking with Tommy Tyson, he said that he would continue to put signs up so that maybe you drive by and you look at East Chase and it says, okay, got a public hearing coming up. Typically what happens is you call down on that telephone number and they say, yes, this is what's going on. And then they can refer you to a site to show the PDFs of what the project would actually look like. And from there, that site would also have a comment section that anybody in the public can have general comments and send that to the developer to see if maybe if there's something, you know, that he might have overlooked. So what this is asking is just to modify that one ordinance. James, did I leave anything out there?
No, sir. Not that I can think of.
Is there anybody, is there anybody from the Planning Commission planning to come and speak about this at all, or in agreement with this, or did you ever, in the 2 weeks, have you talked to anybody on the Planning Commission about it or anything? Because I know the last time you said you hadn't spoken with them.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
And I did not reach out because I don't think that it's going to be well received because it's a loss of power. Or in this case, it's a loss of the ability to stir things up and actually make them worse at times. And there's a couple members that are pretty adamant about the fact that they don't like the way the system's working. But as I said last time, ma'am, I've been doing this 20 years for the city now, and there were cities and municipalities when I came to work that I worked on the other side that was doing this 20 years ago. So it's really time to look at streamlining the operation and taking care and using the resources that we have as staff. And
Okay. McInnes just said
Okay.
nobody don't even hardly show up, and that you have, Mr. McInnes, right here,
Yeah.
just said that no one really hardly shows up for those, and that you don't have but a couple. Is that not what you
Well,
said?
people do show up, but what we're talking about is kind of streamlining
Is
that.
that not what you told me?
Some people show up, so we're streamlining the process and getting the information out to the people that can access that information online, which, you know, one of the reasons why people show up is to figure out what's going on. And so this is really just putting information to the people ahead of time and being proactive instead of reactive. So I think it streamlines the process.
Yeah. Usually the people are showing up typically because they've not seen a picture of what the development's going to look like, and they're actually wanting to see that. So if we get it where it's online, it should serve that same purpose right there.
Yes,
for the
sir.
majority of them.
yes, sir. And the majority of our calls are also, oh, well, I knew that was coming. Oh, that's great, and stuff like that. So it saves them a trip from coming down, and especially when their trip is to no avail unless the developer decides he wants to do something that normally costs them money and normally they won't do it.
Okay. Any other questions? Move on to the second item. Second item is we'll talk to them when they get here, heart-to-heart transportation, looking for an application for that. Number 3 is a liquor license. It's a package store on Day Street. Now, this is the one we know that's, they haven't started anything yet, so we're at the beginning of this, aren't we, Ms. Graham?
I'm going to carry that over again,
Okay,
Mr.
carry it over.
Jim. I spoke with the owner, and so he is working on a couple things, going to get back with me hopefully by the end of the week, so we're just going to carry it over again.
Okay. Very good. Item number 4 This is this is, we'll have a public hearing on it and the police are okay with it, so. Okay. Number 5, that's you, it's okay. Number 6, those will be hearings. This just sets the public hearing on September the 15th. Then a vote will be on September the 7th. The vote will be at that point, September 15th meeting. All right, number 8. Number 8's a fire department. And we'll have a we need a public hearing on these.
No, sir.
Public hearing, we already had that.
No, sir, you don't have to have public hearings on 8, 9, and 10.
That's right, they were, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then 10 has an adjustment in 10. I've given each one of you a copy of the item number 10's, has some rewording in there. Madam Clerk, where's that at, on back page or?
It's on page 3,
Okay.
and the very last sentence on page 3, they need to add, where I've highlighted it in yellow,
Yeah,
they need to
page
add, it'll be lounge, bar, entertainment, or event venue, rental hall,
Okay.
or
So we'd like
restaurant.
to-
So we've got to amend the
Can we
resolution.
do an
the
editorial
ordinance.
change on that when we vote on it?
We need to amend it, Mr. President.
Okay, we'll
because-
amend it, okay.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
No problem. Yes, ma'am.
Is this change the dollar amount? than what-
I'll just pull over the mic, I can hear you.
Is this changing the dollar amount from what we charge them for overcrowding?
Doc-
No,
So it's still the same.
it's still the same amount?
Yeah, they'll change that.
They're gonna explain it, Art.
Good afternoon. No, ma'am, it does not change the dollar amount
Okay,
for the administrative fees. What it changes is, right now, we have 2 nightclubs that's been fined, one for $35,000, one for $24,000. There's no timetable on when they have to pay.
okay,
So the amendment is giving them a 90-day window from the time that the council deem that they are overcrowded. They have 90 days to pay their fines.
Okay.
If not, then they come back before the council for license suspension or revoke.
okay, sound good. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chief,
Okay.
one question. So
Yeah.
would that also cover places like the Alcazar? Because I know they do have, would that fall?
Sure would.
Okay.
Venue. Number 11. What's this one? Okay, this is part of the same thing. Madam Clerk, what is it? This one part of the police, part of the fire?
This is part of the revocation of the procedure that we've used recently. This has taken out the section where, Stacy, what's that section of the code?
The current ordinance requires us to follow the rules, the Act governing administrative procedures.
Okay.
And that gives judicial review, which they already have, but it also gives them a right to remain open and ask the court to stay what the city council did. So by removing that section, it would be
Okay.
treated just like a denial of a business license. It would just go up on a writ.
Modifies existing. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, number 12. This is a situation with the corporate district for the water park. Wrong word in it. Anyway, this excludes the Salvation Army from the property. That's basically what it. Leslie, you want to make sure I'm saying it right? The property that this ordinance actually included the property at the Salvation Army to make this one big piece of property transferred to the authority, the district, corporate district. And this excludes the Salvation Army from that, which makes it whole. Is that proper? Okay. Anybody got any questions about this? Okay. Only thing I want to say, and I'll say it again then, let's not forget the Salvation Army. Salvation Army has got to move. That's the reason we started this stuff. I could go way back, but we tore down Riverside Heights years ago to make Maxwell Air Force Base a safer place. And this was part of the plan back then, to make Maxwell Boulevard a very safe place for our Maxwell officers to go in and out. And it means a lot because there's a lot of high-powered folks on that base that can make some major decisions when they get to Washington, D.C., and we don't want them having a bad taste in their mouth. So, right, General? Okay. All right, number 13.
I don't like that.
Rebuild Alabama. This is, where this come from? This is,
Came from Chris Conway.
huh? Chris, this you? Rebuild Alabama? Whole transportation plan?
Yeah, as you know, the Rebuild Alabama gas tax that was passed last year,
Okay.
it requires municipalities to adopt a transportation plan annually
Okay.
before August 31st of each year. So we have used our transportation plan to reflect our paving, our residential paving program. So this is just a restatement of that so that we can continue to move forward, and we would ask that you get that passed this meeting. Appreciate
Okay.
it. To clarify, Audrey, since you asked the question, I'll give everybody the benefit of it. I sent you guys out a list of all of the paving projects that we had contemplated for 2021 by email a couple of weeks ago prior to coming up with this plan. If you'll notice, the amounts are a little different. In Rebuild Alabama, we're able to capture potentially not just material cost, which is typically what we charge the council districts for the paving in their district, is just the material cost only. But we're able to capture labor and equipment costs potentially if the funding were there. I mean, you'll see that, what is that, about a $7 million funding, and we're going to get about $800,000 from the state. So we're not getting a lot of money from the Rebuild Alabama plan, but we plan to use every dime of it in the neighborhoods. So,
A bit helps.
yes.
It helps. It's great. Okay, next item, number 14. Betty, you here? Is this is a change in our retirement system, October 1? Stacy, you know about this?
We're drafting a resolution so that
Sorry, I can't hear.
the state board, the RSA board will have to approve it, but we're asking the board to allow all our Tier 2 employees to actually receive Tier 1 benefits under the RSA plan. So to do that, it requires a resolution from the council, which is then presented to the retirement board for the state, and they should take it up. I believe their next meeting is in 3 weeks. And they'll take it up. If they approve it, then all of our employees under RSA will get
Same.
Tier 1 benefits.
What's the financial situation on this? Have we included that in the budget? I saw some numbers of $400,000 a year. Is that correct? You're saying yes? Okay. Okay, council, that's we're up against. All right, number 15. This is a Lions Pride on Eastern Boulevard. I think that may be, is that either mine or yours? On the 60. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that one. Good. Number 16, Ebony Grocery on South Decatur Street. This place already in business. It's a transfer. District 3, this is Tracy's district.
Yep.
I think he was okay with this one. Yeah. Police department's okay. Transfer. Okay. Number 16, we'll have a public hearing. Number 17 is the Z-Tech on Eastern Boulevard. We're building a new one there. This is part of that situation.
Change
This
of
you,
ownership.
Mr. Calhoun, CC, this your deal? CC, this your district?
17? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
You
fine
okay?
with it. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Number 18, appointments to the Board of Trustees for the library. We got 2 of those this afternoon, and both of those have been recommended by the Library Board and the Library Management. So, if you have any questions. Number 20, got 6 teardowns. I said 6 teardowns. We average 6 or 8 a meeting. And then number 21 is our unsafe structures. And then, okay, 21, 22, we'll address those in the meeting. Okay, Chris, you said something about Repower was here to talk to us. Chris, our people, my recycling people are here to talk to the council about what they're thinking.
Yes, sir. So I'll just, I guess, set the stage a little bit. You know, we entered into an agreement with Repower South to be our recycling partner about 1.5 years ago. And they've been operating the facility during that time very successfully. It's been a great partnership with them. However, as we have seen within our own city government, as we've seen across the country, you know, they were not immune to the effects of some of the things that are going on. And so it's been a difficult partnership, to say the least, particularly over the last several months. So what I wanted to do was talk to them, have them come up and give you guys a sense of kind of where we are. And because we are considering budgetary items moving forward, if we want to stay and maintain a good partnership and be a recycling progressive city in Montgomery, there may be things that we need to consider moving forward. But I wanted to bring them before you guys and give you a report about what's going on and kind of a lay of the land. Like I say, it's kind of a pay me now, pay me later type of a situation. As you well know, one of the big goals that we've had was diversion of material from our landfill. So we have been able to defer some of the cell construction and certain things that we've contemplated over the last couple of years because of our partnership with them. And if we were to, you know, let's just say worst case scenario, were to lose that partnership, then it's going to cost us in landfill cell construction and those sorts of things. We will actually be constructing one that's in the budget this year to the tune of about $2.5 million. So they're not an inexpensive proposition. And the longer we can defer those types of projects, the better off we can be. But I'll invite Justin Converse up. He's a representative of Repower South, and he can talk to you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate the time, and we certainly appreciate the partnership with the City of Montgomery. The state of recycling in Montgomery is really good. Y'all are leading the state in recycling. We're happy to be a partner in doing that. I've got some handouts for council, but we've diverted about 11 million pounds of recyclables out of your landfill in the last 12 months. The problem is the pricing for the recyclables has fallen by 70%. As a result, you know, we said in good faith, your facility, we have no debt on it. We've invested over 15 million in cash. We've invested an additional 3 million in cash to sustain the operations while we ramped it up over the last 18 months. And so it simply is a dollars and cents problem for us, and it is our problem. But you know, at the rate where pricing is, everyone in here understands business, and if you set aside to have $1 of revenue and you ended up with 95 cents, that's one thing. But when you set aside to get $1 of revenue and you end up with 32 cents, it's another thing. The workforce here in Montgomery has been fabulous. The city, we have nothing but praise for the entire relationship. What we've asked council to consider, and I don't know if it's been formally proposed or not, but for the city of Montgomery to consider a temporary recycling fee such that it's indexed, it's a ACR index, just like many indexes that people are familiar with. But you know, when we broke ground, a basket of recyclables was over $300. Right now, it's about $137. And so what we've asked is just a fee structure such that while recycling is so depressed, we can collect a fee. And when the recycling, which is a broad index that everybody can look at openly and publicly, when prices go up, we will return, a portion of that fee until we get, when we broke ground basically 27 months ago, the price was nearly 70% higher than it is today. And as a result, we're committed to the project. We're committed to the city of Montgomery. We feel very honored to be here, but it's pretty tough. As you can imagine, the losses are significant. We've been funding them. We continue to fund them every day. And, we're just asking for the consideration of a recycling fee for the city that y'all would control, you would pass through to us on an index basis, and we would return it if recycling prices return to where they were. If they get to half of where they were, we would return a portion of it. We're not asking for anything that makes us profitable either. If we got the full scope of our ask, it would still leave us losing some money, but not $3 million in 18 months. It would be 20% of that. But we would sustain that because we believe this is a short-term issue. We don't believe commodity prices will stay as depressed as they are. But in the meantime, you can hope one way, but the reality keeps coming at you. And so we find ourselves, we've put off this request, for over 6 months, and we keep kicking the can thinking that, it's going to get better and we don't have to bother a good partner in the city. But that's just not happened. We have partnered with Amwaste, which does the county of Montgomery. They do Pike Road. They do a tremendous amount of business around Montgomery, and they've really helped us. They've brought us volume. They've brought us good quality tons, and we find ourselves to where the city doesn't have enough garbage to run 2 shifts. The city also doesn't pay us a tip fee to process the garbage. We operate your facility on your behalf, but it's a revenue neutral circumstance. Effectively, every resident of the city is recycles if they throw their garbage away because it comes through our facility and we take it. And I would welcome council, anyone here, to come see our operations because I'm very proud of it. The fuel we're making is being consumed here in Alabama, which is making cement for the state of Alabama. It's being burned at Argo Cement in Calera. At the Roberta plant, we have 100% use by Calera, so all of the renewable fuel we're making is being consumed by an Alabama business, putting that back in the infrastructure of the state. And 100% of our recyclables have been selling, and they've been selling it at or above market price, which means we make high quality recyclables. And, that's in a nutshell, that's the challenge that I'm faced with, and that's why I'm bothering y'all today.
So you've got a presentation for us, or a written presentation for each of us?
I just did a handout. I didn't understand the scale of this meeting, and so I'm happy to leave council with a very, very remedial handout, but I welcome y'all. The city has the right to audit our books. The city has the right to look at everything we do, and we welcome it. There's no secrets.
Your
And
time is good.
And I'd love to show y'all
Okay.
the facility because we're very proud of it, and I think y'all will be as well.
It's wonderful. It's good looking, that middle there, yeah.
So,
If
any
you give us that
questions,
little
anyone?
handout, that'd be great, because it's timely because of the budget time we're about to get into. Questions?
Yeah, did you have a dollar amount for a recycling fee? I'm
Yes,
sorry, I may
ma'am.
have
The
missed- first
first request is $2 per customer. And what I mean is that's a residential customer. Y'all have a graduated rate, but we requested that $2 a household pass through. And then as pricing gets better, that gets less. And if it gets to the level it was when we broke ground to build this facility, it goes away again. And so it's just an index fee structure so that, and again, I ask you to look at the numbers because what we've asked for, we weren't asking the city to make us profitable. We're asking the city to help us be sustainable. These are kind of unprecedented times, and we're trying to stick it out, and we're committed to doing so.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? Appreciate the presentation. I understand that, and recycled products are hard to sell. A lot of folks in the world, rags and stuff like that used to go overseas, and is it still plastic? Metal? Well, yeah. Look forward to that
Thank you.
fire. Thank you. Okay, council, got anything else you want to talk about?
Yes, sir. Item number 10, I was reading, so the fire department would be the only people that can cite them for as being overcrowded.
Yeah, that's their response. It's a fire code. Yeah.
And then on the moratorium, the 3-month moratorium, where would we be after that moratorium? Are we going to look at another procedure? Where do we go after not issuing those liquor licenses?
Well, actually, Oronde, I had just put this in place because I feel like it's becoming a bit much over in West Montgomery. Every side of town may not be having the same issue that we're having, but I'm just wanting to put something in place until we come up with something. Stacy, me, and Chris, we're working on something to just kind of like we did the payday loans, so that they were on every corner. We're trying to put something in place like that so that we can have something, and so this is just until we can get it all worked out. Stacy, you want to?
We're in the process of looking at what other municipalities have done, and we've provided Councilwoman Graham with a couple of examples. We just want to go through and make sure what we propose has worked with the other municipalities and is effective and takes a lot into consideration that we wouldn't necessarily immediately think about. Grandfathering in certain locations, if we're going to put restrictions on how close they can be to churches or schools, that kind of thing, and when that grandfathering might end. Situations like that, and whether it's just package stores or it'll be restaurants, that kind of thing. So a lot to contemplate that we couldn't do for the next council meeting. So putting the moratorium just allows us to be a little more thoughtful about the process.
And I just wanted to present it tonight because in here it says 3 months. We may want to talk about that and say 60 days, you know.
Yeah, we just put it on the agenda.
Yeah, you know, so I just
Carry it
wanted
over
to
and
present it
talk about
so
it.
we could talk about it, look at it, see
You
how
got
we
one
feel about
tonight
it,
that you're
and break
dealing
it
with.
down. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else got a question? Okay, we'll adjourn till 5 o'clock.